A marathon-long city council meeting ends in a more than $200 million decision. Rockford leaders pass a 2026 budget some argue breaks the community's trust in government. In a chaotic session, council members approve a financial plan keeping the city's property taxes flat, but the budget repurposes the cannabis sales tax. WIFR's Nathaniel Langley is live inside City Hall, where he spent hours learning how a change drove a lengthy session. Nathaniel?
Sydney, yeah, this 5-hour-long meeting just actually wrapped. The last city council members who were here just left the door. You can see I'm inside the empty chamber right now. And this council meeting featured things I've never really seen before in council meetings before, such things like a plea for a bathroom break, amendments after amendments, and some worrying that a budget proposal or this budget passed proposal could break people's trust in local government. Now, what was passed tonight was the 2026 budget, which features $224 million for basic city services, and it features as well a budget deficit solution, that being repurposing the cannabis sales tax. Right now, the 3% sales tax you pay on weed in the city of Rockford goes towards things like the Regrow Grant, which funds community reinvestment programs. But to fill a $3.7 million deficit, city staff recommended repurposing it and filling up that hole in the budget. And tonight we saw last-ditch proposals from city council members to try to prevent that, to keep the cannabis fund untouched. But such things like a slight property tax increase, delaying the budget vote, and enshrining that cannabis money can't be used for future deficits all failed. But the past budget leaves future weed revenue untouched, which primarily funds community reinvestment programs.
Budgets are moral documents. It's one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King, because they are. They don't just allocate dollars, they declare our values. They show who we believe deserves investment, whose needs can wait, and whose voices are optional.
I feel are really good. When you look at the priorities of our residents, the priorities of the city of Rockford, this aligns with them. We, again, for the 13th year, have not increased property taxes. We're fully funding the safety of our residents and putting that first and foremost. We're making sure every child can go to college for free. We're making sure our youth to our seniors can ride our buses for free. We have home repair programs in this budget. There's something in this budget for everyone.
What we also saw tonight was potentially a preview for what could happen in the next couple weeks. Councilmember Tamir Bell proposed an ordinance flat out restricting the use of cannabis funds for the general fund, i.e. not using it for a deficit. Bell's proposal would also create the Cannabis Equity Fund to kind of enshrine that Regrow Grant from any future changes. Reporting in Rockford, Nathaniel Langley, WIFR News.
The 2026 budget maintains city services and leaves Rockford's property taxes untouched for the 12th year. Homeowners may still see an uptick in their bill as other taxing bodies increase their rates.